You are listening to Insurance Untangled podcast, where we explore the various challenges faced by dental practices due to their reliance on insurance. In this podcast, we dive deep into the issues surrounding dental insurance dependence and offer practical solutions and strategies for reducing your reliance on insurance. Join us as we interview industry experts, share success stories, and provide valuable insights to help you take control of your practice's financial future.
Welcome to another episode of the Insurance Untangled podcast. My name is Ben Tuyene, and I'm one of your co-hosts for this podcast. You know, we created this podcast and sort of dedicated it towards the whole world of insurance and how to resolve all the issues that we experience on a day-to-day basis in the dental practice. Well, today we have a special treat with you. This is not necessarily an episode that we're going to dive into the specifics of dental insurance. Instead, I invited my insurance broker and my dear friend, Chris Torres, to come and share us an insider's view on how insurance works in general. Chris, how's it going, my friend?
Good. I wish your Braves were a little better, but go Diamondbacks, and I appreciate the ball cap. So there you go.
Hey, I'm a Players fan. Like I love the Braves. I was just there at Truist Park on Thursday, and it was, you know, a nice dental meeting that we had right there at the ballpark. But I'm more of a Shohei, Aaron Judge, you know, a top hitter, you know, impressive individual. I'm a fan of these players that play for different teams, you know, so, but baseball is a good distraction from the pains of life that we experience from time to time.
Amen.
Chris.
Amen. Glad the Dodgers are coming to town this weekend. Go ahead.
Yeah, that's going to be a fun game. Well, I appreciate you coming on the show today, Chris. So some background for those of you that have been listening. Of course, you know that our theme is dental insurance and how to deal and fight with insurance. But I feel like it's important to understand the inner workings of insurance from somebody somewhat on the inside who doesn't actually sell dental insurance. So Chris is not a dental insurance agent. He's an insurance broker that sells, I have life insurance policies. My son has a life insurance policy. It's more so from the perspective of insurance as an investment. But he's been around the industry long enough to where I've learned a lot of things from him on the whole design of insurance. And every insurance carrier has the same mission and the same objective. And what is that, Chris?
Profit. How do I get out of paying for stuff?
Yeah, exactly. How do I collect premium and not pay a claim? You know, how do I keep all that money? You know, and
exactly.
On it. So talk to us, Chris, about, you know, the whole inner workings of insurance. So we know that the main objective is profitability. Insurance companies have to look good to Wall Street, right? To investors.
100%.
Speak to us about sort of that particular design. Like, why is that? How is that?
So insurance companies' main goal is to collect premiums over decades, generations, whatever the case may be. And what I've always shared with people is you have to understand, insurance companies, through new testing, and when I say new test every quarter, they are getting it down to pretty much 88% accuracy the year that someone's going to pass. Mm-hmm. And you'll see this, the academic studies. I've seen the studies over and over. It's just insane. But insurance companies thrive on the band of large numbers, when somebody is going to pass, et cetera. But what I know from over 30 years in the insurance industry is, how can I control my cost? And what can I do to keep people interested, right? Okay, we just got a new rating. We've got this. We have this new bell and whistle. Give me a reason to get back in front of people. But at the same time, they're retaining all of their profit. I'm setting on a pile of money. Now, Ben, I've known you for over a decade. You know, and I know your listeners are here because they're filing with those insurance companies saying, hey, where's mine? I've done the work. So what I wanted to do is share with your family of 10, 12, 20,000 listeners, say, look, this is what I know my dental clients are doing, i.e. the dentist, to put more profits on the books. Mm-hmm. Because your crews can't work any harder. Literally, there's only so many hours in the week. So what I wanted to do is just give them a quick session, 3, 4, 5, however much time you'll give me, ideas, that might work for them right now. And I can't say, oh, they'll all work for, I don't know their situation, but I can give them a situation where, how do I cover the cost of people walking in without insurance? Those dollars have to come from somewhere.
Oh yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And I like that because, you know, when you look at the world of insurance, the big question is that for the most part, most practices are in network with dental insurance, right? They have to be. They feel, well, I shouldn't say they have to be. They feel like they have to be in an effort to retain patients. But the big question is that are insurance reimbursements going to get any better to the extent where in-network status would be more and more attractive to dentists from, you know, a long-term perspective? And I think the answer to that is no.
Correct.
And
Sorry.
so, yeah, I think isn't that the same with almost any like vision, medicine?
Yeah. How do I keep my money on the table? Listen, I'm seeing claims turned down in the medical field. I never thought. I have a friend here in Scottsdale, breast cancer survivor, going back, and insurance said we're not going to pay for the second test.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you've been paying premiums 12 years. And I'm seeing this as, okay, this is a breast cancer patient. Well, if they're getting turned down for that,
Mm-hmm.
the dentist, we got to figure something out.
Yeah, because you see similar things in dentistry where you know, patients get denials all the time. Well, patients don't see these things, which is one major area of frustration in dentistry is patients don't see when those claims get denied and all the work that goes in to a doctor having to appeal those claims, you know. And I just ran into a situation where a dentist had a lab fee of $4,500, but insurance only allowed him to collect $2,500 between what insurance pays and what the patient pays for that procedure. So he was out of pocket to treat the patient by a few $1,000s. You know what I mean?
Wow.
And I'm hearing, I only see what goes on dental and somewhat on medical from a personal experience standpoint, but I imagine it's the same in no matter what insurance company you're dealing with, right?
Yeah.
Car insurance, you name it. So the question is, you know, you deal with thousands of doctors across the country over your career, Chris,
Sure.
and you deal with them from the perspective of helping them, you know, work out insurance from an investment standpoint, personal investment standpoint, right? What are a lot of your clients doing? Because I know this question comes up is, Chris, how do I put my money from an insurance perspective in a way where it works, but it helps me offset the operational insurance write-offs that I'm taking at my practice? Like, let's say it's $400,000 a year that you're writing off as a result of being in network. What are other areas that are not necessarily related to dental that we could use to offset some of those those write-offs?
Yeah, I think what it is, you know, find me new profits, right? The great challenge. Find me new profits. What am I not thinking of? And, you know, I'll share with you the one that kind of jumps off the screen at me. And this is for those dentists listening that are literally self-employed on a 1099. Everybody, COVID, et cetera, there was the employee retention credit. Okay, that train has, quote, left the station. But what's still available for those dentists is a credit called the self-employed tax credit. Now, why is that so different? Why is that so good? Okay, if you have a dentist that practiced in 2020 or 2021 that was self-employed, okay, that credit is worth $10,000, anywhere between $10,000 to $32,000. 10,000 if you're single, 22,000 additional if you have a family. Now think about that. There's 3 criteria. Do you pay taxes? Typically, yes.
Mm-hmm.
That's good. Okay. That's what you need to have to qualify for the program. Well, you had income in those years. Did you pay taxes? Yes. So this is a tax credit of, and let's just say for this particular dentist, it's worth $10,000. So that would be a credit they could apply for against their 24 taxes for next year. So if their tax bill was all said and done 20 grand, it would lower it dollar for dollar saying you got the $10,000 credit, you'd still owe, but it would be 50% of what you owe.
So that's for this year, not for 2023?
This year. They can take it for this year and use it when they file. We're in 2024. They file the credit this year. They use it in 25. It's an immediate offset on the taxes. It's claimed via an amended income tax return, which I can take your clients through that. But here's what's interesting about this. In typical government fashion, they announce a tax credit and they say, well, how many days were you out of work? And I've had dentists say, 10. I was taking care of my daughter. I was taking care of my mom. I was taking care of myself, whatever the case may be. Okay. Then you literally write that in, or we type it in, and that's it. There's no record of vaccination. You have to show medically how many days you're out of work. Whatever they think that number is between taking care of family members, themselves, etc., that's what we can go with.
And that's the self-employment tax credit?
Self-employed tax credit. Yep.
Okay.
And, that's an easy one that I would ask any of your listeners anywhere in the country, hey, this applies to you, okay?
Yeah.
So we want that money in their pocket. So that's what I call, that's a 6-month dollar. Why? Well, I'm going to see that dollar in 6 months when I make out my taxes April 15th, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I know it's coming. I've got it, but here it is. So that's an idea.
Got it.
Another one, and we have a mutual client in Southern California that we just did this with multiple locations. And this is the thought of, every one of your dentists have equipment. I don't care if it's an X-ray machine, a drill, implants, whatever it is. But when these dentists are looking for profits or new profits or driving costs down, this is one I always share with them. Look at your credit card processing. Look at the fees you're paying for that. Why? We just wrapped up our client in Southern California, and we were able to lower their fee in half. Okay, so Chris, what does that mean? This particular dentist is going to put $43,000 a year more in their pocket than their old processing. And I don't care if said client is with Chase and Wells, or I'm preferred with Bank of America or Costco, whatever the case may be. But I know that when the exam is done, as far as new profits, we want to look at, okay, here's what you're paying in a fee. Here's what your new fee would be. Well, guess who's getting the profit? The dentist. I just lowered my cost. So implemental. What can I do to put more money in our pockets? That's a big one, because it doesn't matter who it's with. It's just like a rate. Now, when I say rate, and you started with life insurance, let me explain this to all your listeners. I have had clients say, I just got insurance from insurance company B. My premium went from $1,000 a month to $810, and I own $2 million of term insurance. I'm just making the numbers up. When it comes to term insurance, it's a race to the gutter. That means, politely, how cheap can we sell this product and still make money?
Mm-hmm.
That's it. Remember, 99% of term claims are never paid. It is a pure profit center to the insurance company.
Mm-hmm.
How low can they charge? Well, why is company Z 30% lower than the other company? Because that's what they can charge and still make a profit. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
So what we want to do is say, hey, look, there's ways to find new profits that you haven't been exposed to. But that seems like such a small idea. Ben, if a dentist is doing $1 million of volume a year, and we know some will do more, some will do less, that's $10,000 in their pocket, minimum.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I don't tell clients how to spend their money. If that's paying down a student loan, if that's getting a new car, if that's Christmas is coming, whatever the case may be, my idea is to say, hey, here's something you can take advantage of. So that's what I've seen. If someone said of your ideas, what can I implement right now to see dollars in my pocket, by Thanksgiving? By far, that's number one.
Mm-hmm.
What are you doing on the processing side? What's interesting is dentist in Kansas. How do I get known? I've been in business 2 years. It's not growing as fast as I'd like to, right? We all suffer. How come I'm not more popular? Welcome to Instagram. Okay. But, so I want to give some ideas that might have merit because it doesn't matter. Here's some ideas that I've seen other dentists use for goodwill. Halloween candy buyback program, right? Halloween's coming. How do I generate traffic? Hey, you come in, you tell your clients we're doing a buyback program for bags of candy, against their bill. A Christmas toy drive. I'm a former Marine. I love Toys for Tots. You can call any Marine Corps recruiting center. They'd love to put a box outside your office.
Oh, yeah.
That's huge for me. Ben, you were fortunate to attend the University of Arizona to play football. I have a dentist in Pennsylvania doing mouth guards for free. Think about that cost.
Oh, yeah.
$1, you get 4 mouthpiece. Boom. They fit perfectly. Goodwill, goodwill, goodwill. Another piece that I found is, hosting a chamber event. The Chamber of Commerce is always looking for things, looking for items. What can we have? What can we do for members to get our word out? Reach out to them. Reach out to them. They want to get involved. But, with football coming up, I love the idea of the mouth guards also for basketball. I mean, I'm a little older, but I hear the kids are playing with mouth guards now in basketball. I hear.
Yeah.
Okay.
Almost every sport.
I was like,
sport.
Yeah. Because I was watching a basketball game, the Summer Olympics. I'm like, they got mouth guards in. And, it's been a while. Let's just say that. This gray beard isn't free. So, community campaigns works out well. Another accounting rule, if you will, is have your dentist talk to their CPAs about cost segregation. And I'm going to give you the Reader's Digest version of this. If your dentist owns the building, the dentist can apply cost of segregation to the entire building, including the land improvements, the structural components, and the non-structural components, such as HVAC, lighting, flooring. This strategy allows for the reclassification of certain building components. So maybe they had a building, they were doing a 27-year depreciation, a 30-year. Depending on working with their CPA, they could do a cost segregation, cut that from 5 to 7 to 15 years of depreciation. So if I cut that depreciation way down, what do I have? More savings. Now, that's a conversation between them and their CPA. Just say, hey, I was listening to this podcast for other ideas for profit centers. Maybe this is applicable. I don't know. Now, keep in mind, if I don't own the building, I'm renting. Well, then that falls under leasehold improvements. Now, what's the interior look like? What are you spending on painting and installing specialized equipment? How much are you carrying this on your own? So the household improvements made by the dentist, not the landlord, not the building, is something they could consider. So the easiest takeaway is the owner can apply costs of the segregation to the entire property, while a renter can only go down to leasehold improvements, i.e. what is the landlord not willing to pay for, and then what can I do?
Gotcha.
So, when dentists say, I need profits, I need better centers, give me something to think about. Those are the 3 or 4 that jump off that I'm having these conversations with. Why? Because that dentist wants to make more money. Look, plain and simple. If the insurance company is going to pay you, we've got to get money from somewhere. Right? And what about, one of my big thing is talk revenue streams. Okay, there's so much in the dental practice. Well, but maybe I'm a candidate for the self-employment tax credit. Okay, we do, and I'm going to just come up with a number here, $30,000 a month in credit cards. Okay, but what is your built-in fee on that? I don't, Ben, as we've always heard, right? I don't know. I've had the bank for years. I get it. I hear this a lot. Okay, that's great. We all, need a bank. But let's just take a little bit further look into what they're charging you. Simple enough. So, just ideas to make them go boom. And I don't want to overwhelm them. Here's 3 or 4 ideas. I know one of them apply to you. Which one? Beats me, right?
Yeah.
So maybe all 4, Ben. I have no idea. But if one of them works for your client, there you go.
Yeah. I mean, they're all excellent suggestions and things to look at. I mean, I'm thinking myself on my merchant service processing, and on an annual basis, it's an ugly amount, Chris. It's an ugly amount that you pay. And so you have to look at strategies to sort of minimize expenses, and offset write-offs, boosting profitability. So these are really great suggestions. You mentioned in the past sort of different accounting rules for profits. Do you remember that?
I do. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's going to come down to how is the car titled? Who, what are you running through the business?
Mm-hmm.
I still today run into dentists that don't put certain things like car into the business side of it. And because they, the famous I read somewhere, well, I don't know what you're reading. Okay. But I'm telling you, the business is a profit center, but there are things that you're doing that should be there, whether that's the depreciation. How is the business titled? Is it an S Corp? Is it a LLC? Is it a C corporation? Each of those entities have different benefits. So I don't want to, quote, bore the client, but one of the things we talk about, or I talk about with my clients is, and I know it seems little, but 5 more minutes, I promise, and I'll be done. One of the items, and Ben, you and I think we just had this conversation last month. I want every dentist on this phone call to listen to. Please, dear God, call your property and casualty agent. Why do I say that? Ben, let's play a game. And we did not rehearse this for those people listening. If you got into a car accident, would it be easier for you to write a check for $1,000 instead of a few million?
Oh, for sure.
Okay.
I'd rather only spend $1,000.
Exactly. So this is what I tell my clients to do. So many of the dentists I see have a $500 deductible, a $250 deductible, a $1,000 deductible. And I tell them, look, here's what I want you to do. I want you to take the cars that you own and have a minimum of a $2,000 deductible. But Chris, I'm on the hook for the first $2,000. Yeah, I know. And I've seen your bank account. You can afford it. Here's why. We're going to take the money you save and purchase a $5 million umbrella policy. That means that if you are ever the cause of the accident, they have to go through your $5 million umbrella before they touch any of your assets.
Yeah.
Well, how do I do that? You call your respective property casualty, Allstate, State Farm, USAA. It doesn't matter. You tell them, I want to raise my deductible to $2,000 and purchase a $5 million umbrella.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. Now, you'll save $200-$300 a year. That's not why I'm doing it. I'm doing it because I want that backstop.
Right.
I want the $5 million. And if you're someone with teenage drivers, I wouldn't even hesitate.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
call them today, because the teenage driver is going to be the one, hey, this turned into this, turned into this. They either have what I typically see, I have a $500 deductible with $1 million umbrella. Forget the 500. Go to 2,000, get the $5 million umbrella policy to back everything up.
Yeah.
So
smart.
That's one thing, and people go, okay, but do you do that? No, I don't. But I think why Ben and I have been friends for so long. Hey, Ben, here's an idea. Okay, that makes sense. I don't get involved. That's between you and your PNC. The cost segregation, that's between you and your CPA. If your clients are going, okay, but my CPA doesn't know anything about blank. Okay, then text me. Hey,
Yeah.
you gave me the idea. I mean, think about this, Ben. Chris, you gave me the idea of the self-employed tax credit. My CPA doesn't do that. A, I don't know why. B, okay, we'll use my firm. Well, I'll help you. Or I've been with B of A for years. They love me. Yeah, I can see the fees you pay. They should love you. Okay.
Mhm.
So let's find out if there's something I can do to bring value to you. I mean, at my age, nearly 60, I've seen it all. I've seen my dentist clients go through these personal headaches. And, if there's anything I can tell you, they just need someone to say, just look at the picture. What am I missing here?
Mhm.
That's why I said, look, if I can put, something in plan to help you today, man, that's great. Or if you listen to this and you never reach out, but you did something I said,
Yeah.
awesome. You won. You won. And, for those listening, Ben will tell you, I'm going to give you my cell phone. Just text me if you have a question. I can't make it any easier than that. This is my real cell phone, 602 616 9318. I live in Scottsdale, 602 616 9318. If you have a question about something I said, or hey, what about the cost segregation? Or look, whatever that is for you, just reach out. Heard you on the podcast. Let's connect. Okay. I mean, that's Ben, you know me. That's about my sales approach. That's it. You're either going to reach out or not. And either way, that's okay.
Yeah. I appreciate that, Chris. And so for our listeners, Chris works with some really big heavy hitters in dentistry. He's sort of the preferred financial expert as it pertains to insurance. So when you think about insurance and the struggles that we have on the dental side of things, I wanted Chris to come on board today to kind of explain, his view of insurance in general and what he's hearing from his own clients that are dentists on how they're sort of managing other aspects of insurance and other investments and other fees, things that Chris already went over in an effort to help maximize profitability in the practice. So get a hold of Chris. If you prefer to email, Chris, what's your email?
Just hit my Gmail. I'm c.e.torres, TORRESAZ @gmail.com. Hey, that's a personal email. Yeah, it sure is. That's the only one I check. So just being honest.
Excellent.
When you have nothing to hide, you're pretty easy to get a hold of. That really is my cell phone. That really is my email.
Well, if there's an advisor that I recommend having in your back pocket as it pertains to just business in general, financial strategies, Chris he's the man. So reach out to him and ask questions. Chris, thank you so much for your time today.
Thank you.
I learned a few things that I'm going to actually investigate a little bit further. And hopefully the listeners, I'm positive that most of them did as well. So thank you for the nuggets today. Really appreciate
man.
that.
All they got to do is text me. You know how I am. Hey, I heard you on the podcast. Cool. So we'll start there. Appreciate y'all. Ben, thank you, brother. Love you.
Thank you, Chris. Thank you, Chris. And to our listeners, thank you for joining us on another amazing episode of the Insurance Untangled podcast. Check out insuranceentangled.com for freebies, future promotions, webinars, episodes, and so forth. And of course, if you have a topic suggestion, feel free to send us a contact through our website, insuranceentangled.com. Until next time, hope you all have a great day, and we wish you all the best of success.